Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I am your Ice Dragon, RayronVR, and today we got another chapter in our saga of railroad merges. We got the latest update that Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern have indeed reached a tentative agreement, which we will talk about here in a second, that they are going to go forward with potentially combining the two Class 1 railways. So let's go ahead and take a look what we got. So here's the official announcement both on Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern's merger. The Union Pacific Transcontinental Railroad is more about connecting tracks. It's about connecting people, strengthening communities, and building a stronger America. We'll keep you updated as we continue to make progress and make it happen. So they are indeed going to move forward. They're starting the official filings for merging the two railroads. And again, I still keep my opinion that Union Pacific is going to keep their logo, their name, and Norfolk Southern, I think, is just going to fall as another fallen flag under the Union Pacific heritage tree. But I'll go ahead and go to kind of the official statements here. So the big word of caution when it comes to this merger right now is anything that these two companies make in their statements, as they state here, is going to be a forward-looking statements, meaning that any forward-looking statements may be identified by use of words like may, will, could, would, should, accept, anticipate, believe, project, estimate, intend, plan, for any variations or any comparable terminology. So basically what this means is that the two CEOs have shook on a potential forward-looking statement saying that they want to combine. They've come to this agreement that Union Pacific is going to buy essentially shares of Norfolk Southern. I think the value was like they're going to raise it by like $88 a share, or between 88 and 350. I have to look at the exact numbers, but Union Pacific is going to buy out the shares of Norfolk Southern, so that way they can merge into the first transcontinental American Class 1 railway, as I'm going to nickname the Mega Class 1. So there's more legal terms here, but the big thing I'm going to try to do some Cliff Notes version of this is that right now we're in the very early stages of this merger. Right now they have to go through the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, so that way they can propose all of these shares, ideas that they have to merge and make sure that it's all legal. So that's what they're going to go through right now. And then obviously the next hurdle is going to be the Surface Transportation Board. So that one's going to be a little bit more strenuous, considering that there's a lot of things to consider when it comes to decision of the Surface Transportation Board. And also kind of dove a little bit into the board members. So the Surface Transportation Board is made up of 5 members. Currently, it's only 4 members in position. Is one currently still vacant. We got Chairman Mr. Fuchs. We've got Mr. Primus, we've Got Schultz, and we have Headland. Now, these two right here, they were under the Republican flag, and then these two were actually waived as the Democratic. I'll leave the links down below to give you guys some of the background, but kind of a wealth of experience and a nice diverse background when it comes to all 4 of the members. Now keep in mind, all 4 of these members unanimously voted 4-0 when it came to the CPKC merger. But keep in mind, it came with so many strings attached. I think it was like a 7-year observation period of pretty much everything on the rail line, that they had to look at financial aspects. They had to look at the rail works and the usage of the tracks, to the unions within the agreement as well. So it came with a lot of strings attached to have that merger actually happen. And if you dig a little bit more into kind of the financial earnings of CPKC, they've actually been at a loss this year when everyone predicted that they were going to have a positive. So again, not really a monopoly as I thought it would be, going from north to south to provide some sort of financial gain. So it's kind of interesting to see how that's kind of developing. But again, wealth of experience. This one is Miss Schultz is a lawyer. This one, Miss Headland, has been in the transportation business for a while, also in law. So yeah, a lot of experience when it comes to the members of the Surface Transportation Board. And then they really have to dig into kind of what they have to look at when it comes to determining if this is actually going to be approved or not. So the big thing to look into is that there's basically 5 mandatory factors that weigh into what's called the public interest. When it comes to the 5 statutory elements, basically, from what I've gathered, the Surface Transportation Board has kind of an act that they use. Again, I may be misquoting this. Those of you who are a little bit more informed into the legal stuff can correct me on this. But there's a little bit of a special note for Surface Transportation Board when it comes to the railway. The STB can look into what's called the public interest and see if it's determined that yes, it isn't within the public interest to do this merge. So some of these, the 5, include effect on adequacy of transportation to the public, effect on public interest of including and failing to include other rail carriers in the area, total fixed charges, debt to lease obligations resulting in the merger, interest of the rail carrier employees affected. So again, unions are definitely going to be a big player when it comes to this merge, and whether the transaction will have an adverse effect on competition among rail carriers in the affected region or nationally. So kind of those last 2 are going to be kind of big heavy hitters, because this is a massive geographical area of interest when it comes to both Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern. So the Surface Transportation Board is going to have to take each location in consideration, from the ports to the the sections that they respond to see if it's going to cause some sort of micro effects, monopoly in a certain area, to see how that's going to go. So yeah, definitely some interesting times ahead when it comes to this particular merger. I'll leave all these links down below so you guys can do your own research, gather your own thoughts about this. But now we're entering the stage of, okay, now we got to see the formal filings with the SEC and with the STB. So now we get to see what the next step is going to be for this process. So yeah, definitely some interesting times ahead. Again, I'm still under the impression that this merger is going to happen, but again, I think it's going to be heavily regulated. Going to have a lot of strings attached, as we saw with CPKC. And so, again, only time will tell what is going to happen with this merge. So, again, I'll continue to report on it, and we'll see what happens. So, with that, let me know in the comments below if you agree with this merger or not, and we'll see where this goes. So, with that, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next video.